There's a lot of great lines from movies. I'm sure we could all come up with them ourselves. I came up with a handful of them. See if you remember them. We're going to need a bigger boat. Life is like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. Here's Johnny. What we have here is a failure to communicate. I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. I'll have what she's having. May the force be with you. Life moves pretty fast. So if you don't stop for a while and look around, you might just miss it. Soon it'll all be over. There's other lines from famous people like Descartes who said, I think, therefore I am. And Shakespeare in one of his plays said, things are neither good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. There's another line, it's from a commercial, probably have heard of it. It's about a guy, a city slicker kind of a guy, drives up in a fancy car. He's up in Maine, and he pulls up to this old gas station. There's an old guy there, and he says to them, listen, man, I'm lost, and I need to know, how do I get over by Red Tree? This is some town. And the old guy says, well, you can't get there from here. You know, we kind of laugh at that because when you think about it, it makes no sense, right? Because obviously, especially with the GPS, which I did recently, they came up with this GPS thing, right? It's good. Obviously, from a geographic point of view, we can always get wherever we are, we can always get to wherever we want to get to. There's no such thing as you can't get there from here. But then there are some things that you're never going to get where you want to get, or you're never going to get what you're really looking for if you're not looking in the right place. So that if we're looking to be fulfilled and we're looking out there for that, or we're looking for that in a relationship, or we're looking for that in money or material things, if we're looking for that outside of ourselves, happiness and fulfillment and meaning, if we're looking for that out over there, we're never going to find it because we're not looking in the right place. Oftentimes, too, if we think of like the cross, we look at that. Jesus is on a cross. Say, well, Jesus died on a cross to forgive our sins. Or Jesus died on a cross because they killed him because he was wrecking their business and they had to get rid of him because he was talking about love and tenderness and they were too busy making money in the business of religion. And so they had to murder him. And he gives his life away. So how do we come and discover, well, what does that mean, that death on a cross? Well, there's plenty of people out there that can tell you what they think, but the more important question is, what do you think? So when you really look for meaning and purpose and fulfillment and happiness, it's never going to be out there. You can't get there from out there. You can only get there from in here. And I think that's what one of the main things that Jesus was saying to us, is that you need to understand something. Life, reality, the experience of your life. Life is lived from the inside out, not the outside in. So many of us, right, we walk around and it's like, how are you doing? Well, fine under the circumstances. How are you? I can't complain. I'm darn it. It drives me crazy. I can't complain today. See me tomorrow. See what I can think of coming to complain about. We're always like, there's always something out here that we're moaning and groaning, something that happened out over there. And that's what's causing me to be angry or to be upset and frustrated. That is causing this, as opposed to, I think Jesus is saying, no, you're not going to grow. You're not going to develop as a human being if you think the source of your problem is out there and that the solution to your problem is when everybody can just be, do, and act exactly the way you want them to, then you don't have a problem. Then you're fine. And Jesus is saying, no. If you want to find the solution to your problem, you've got to be able to look within yourself. Is that what he's saying when you look at this gospel passage, right? The passage is, you're looking at the beam, you're looking at the splinter in your brother's, your sister's eye. You're focusing on the fault of another person. And why do you think we do that? Eckhart Tolle says, well, we do that makes us feel better. If I can be critical and put everybody else down, I feel better. Or I wonder if I could focus on the splinter in my brother's eye, I don't have to look inside of myself of the beam that's in my own eye. It's a deflection. Let me focus on something out over there so I don't have to look at the real issue, which is within moi. I think that's the challenge of Jesus. Life is lived from the inside out, not the outside in. That our experience of reality, think of even today, right here, right now, the quality of your experience of being here emanates from within yourself. I don't know how many people we have here. 500? No. But we've got all different experiences of what it's like to be here. Your experience of being here is unique to you. What is that like? And that the idea of it is that we're always creating that experience. You're the source of your own experience of life. How's it going? Can't complain. Well, you could complain, or you could look at it in a different way. It's totally up to yourself. So what is this? There's something about within us that, what is that dynamic? What is that human tendency to look at the speck in the brother and sister's eye and not our own? Somehow it comes from this feeling that human beings have, that they're lacking something, they're missing something, I'm not enough, and I'm feeling inadequate, and then what I'm doing is I project that inadequacy onto another person. I project my own criticism onto another person. Carl Jung would call that your shadow side. You don't want to take a look at what's going on inside, so you project it out onto other people. To be able to go within ourselves. Sometimes it's the last place we look is within ourselves. And yet, unfortunately, if we were to do that, we would find such beauty, such love, such magnificence if we looked within ourselves. I was driving the car several weeks ago, and I'm going to CVS. I love CVS, right? You come out, you got 9 feet of receipts. I'm like, what am I going to do with this? $3 off from Revlon lipstick, but you got to cash it in by tomorrow, or it expires. So anyway, I'm listening to the radio, and they have this Valerie Bertinelli. Remember Valerie Bertinelli? She was in One Day at a Time, and now she's into cooking and things like that. She was married to Eddie Van Halen.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so she's being interviewed by Joan Hamburg about this book that she had written. It's called Enough Already. That's the name of the book, Enough Already, right? So I'm listening to her, and she's talking about like all these things. I was like, wow, she really has a lot of depth about her. I was really impressed with the way she was articulating and talking about her life and things. And then she had even said, I guess she had experienced the death of Eddie Van Halen, died, he was 65. Apparently he would take the metal pick from the guitar and put it on his tongue a lot. And they're not sure whether that contributed. He had wound up developing tongue cancer, and it spread to his body. And so she was talking, and she was saying how, like, yeah, they weigh a human being, and when the human being, passes on, they say they're 21 grams lighter. And she goes, I wonder if that's the soul, like leaving the body, So she really had a depth about it. And she's another one who, Catholic and everything like that. But as time goes on, she's moved away from, organized religion. And as I listen to this, I'm going, man, we've got to find a way to communicate Jesus Christ and this presence of the risen Christ in a way through liturgy and ritual that's meaningful and relevant to people, because so often it has fallen away. The amount of people who are practicing the Roman Catholic faith or any kind of organized religion. But anyway, as she's talking, it turns out that her brother, when her mother was pregnant with her brother was only 17 months old, and somehow they were at some farmhouse or whatever. He ran out and he drank. It looked like it was in a soda bottle. He drank something that was poisonous, and he died. And the grief that was, you can only imagine the grief that the mother and father were experiencing. And she was in the womb and then was born. And she's got this issue with feeling inadequate. She's not enough. No matter what she does, she's got to lose weight. She's got to do this. She's got to do that. No matter what she does, she's been tortured, almost like her whole life. She's like 62 years old now. And I'm thinking, wow, I wonder if what happened was she's born and somehow the parents are so grief-stricken. Did they not celebrate her birth? Did somehow she feel like, here I am and everybody's sad that I'm alive? What conclusion did she draw about herself where she's walking around with this narrative that she's making up? She's making up. So you think, what is the narrative that you are walking around the planet with about yourself? And the human tendency, and I don't know who tells it. My older brother, 2 younger sisters were adopted. I was just freaking born. I had nothing to do with it. I grew up. I knew I felt a little guilty that I was not adopted. I don't know. No one told me to feel this way. But I did. So we all have a narrative. We all got a little story going on in that head of ours. And the theme of human beings is, I'm not good enough, I don't fit in, I don't belong, and there's something wrong with me. And then what we do is, to the extent that we don't want to really take a look at that and go inside, we project that out and see the splinter in our brother's and sister's eye. But it's really our splinter that's within ourselves. And sometimes we can wind up being a tree that's not producing the best fruit because we got this sense of inadequacy going on inside of ourselves. And I wonder if the theme of Jesus Christ of Christianity, of our Catholic faith, is something that the living God is trying to drill into our heads over and over and over and over again. The miracles of abundance with the loaves and the fishes. Abundant. I'm going to nourish you. I'm going to feed you. Don't worry about anything. The lilies of the field, the birds of the air. I'm going to take care of everything for you. Celebrate and enjoy being alive. Everything is going to be granted unto you. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and everything is granted unto you. Where's the kingdom of heaven? Jesus says it's inside you. Go within yourself and experience the beauty and the magnificence of who you are and watch things unfold in your life. And watch the fruit that your tree produces become the freshest and most beautiful fruit there is, because you got a sense of self-celebration going on inside of yourself. Guess what? The greatest gift you could give to humanity is to love yourself, because that's a direct result of how you're going to treat other people. So the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, changing water into wine, raising Lazarus from the dead. What is the point of the story? The point of the story is for every one of us to realize you are eternal. The people that you have lost in your life that have left their bodies, that's exactly what they did. They are not dead. They're not dead. They're alive. They have left their bodies. And like I was saying a couple of weeks ago, where did they go? They went home. They're probably so much more alive than they were when they were in their body. So abundance and nurturing and don't worry and that you're eternal. And he dies on a cross to communicate to everybody. Do you know how lovable you are? Can you get that sense of self-celebration? Have you allowed that to permeate your mind and your heart? So you know what? I could come up here and say all these nice things, and you could go, yeah, that was really good. Then you go down the ramp, and you go in your car, and you go home, and you go, yeah, what the heck did he say? It's a waste of time unless that permeates your mind and heart, because that's the crux of the matter. In the book, Valerie Bertinelli talks about how Eddie Van Halen, right before he passed, he had been remarried. The wife was there. They were all there. They all loved each other. The son was there, who was apparently up for a Grammy as a song about his dad. And I think the song is called "Distance." No matter how distant you are, you'll always be with me. And so they're all saying, I love you. And then there was this part where they were saying how there was almost a sense that he starts to smile as if someone was coming to him, but no one else could see him. They could not see what he was even looking at. Almost as if somebody was coming to get him from the other side. And he had a smile on his face. And he stopped breathing. And through it all, he was worth $100 million when he passed. $100 million. Cars, houses, this and that, and the other thing. And at the end of the day, they really got was this love. This love that we all carry with us and we're here to grow and develop. And so what Jesus says to each one of us this morning, make no mistake about it. Have that sense of self-celebration going on inside of you. Allow yourself to be loved by the living God. Share that with other people, which is going to be that juicy, beautiful fruit. And always know The only thing that lasts, the only thing that matters, the only thing that gives us meaning, the only thing that is really real is love.